After so many runs and records, what still drives you to win?
I think it's all about life for me, living life to the fullest. After playing international cricket for over 20 years, I'm still playing some leagues as well. It's fantastic, but more so it's all about life, explore, different cultures, separate from cricket, countries, separate from cricket countries, and just, fully blast universe boss style. That's just me, good health as well, and just live responsibly.
You stayed the world's most feared fast bowler for years. What kept you hungry for so long?
Tough trying to cast my brain back to that young man. I think I just always wanted to compete against the best. And I loved, like these guys, I loved playing cricket. I loved being in different cities, playing at the different grounds. And I think when you're enjoying what you do and you love what you do, a consequence of that is that you end up scoring runs or you end up taking wickets, It just kind of happens naturally. And I was fortunate enough that I played in a team with a lot of legends. Graham Smith, Jock Callis, A.B. de Villiers, Hashim Amla, Mackay, I can go through the names. You tend to lift yourself when you're playing with the world's best. And again, a consequence of that is that sometimes luck falls in your lap and you end up becoming pretty good yourself.
After becoming that carless Brathwaite, did you feel pressure every time you stepped onto the field?
Yeah, 100%. Feel a little bit less now. But for some reason, you internalize some of the things that you hear in the media, and you think every time I need to finish a game, I have to finish it with a 6. So one good thing of it happening to me is that now I try to empower younger players who would have had some sort of success, however fleeting, and kind of warn them of the pitfalls of that famed overnight success.
The title's universe boss, does it weigh you down or power you up?
Well, the universe boss, it doesn't get any bigger than that, so there's no it can be down, what I'm saying? The universe is always going to be up. Right now, you're in my world because I'm the universe boss. I can say, hey, I have the power to stop this interview now, right? Because I'm the universe boss. So the universe boss will never go down. It's always up. And welcome to my universe, sir. I've conquered the world already, and I'm loving it.
When batters walked in knowing you were bowling, what advantage did that give you mentally?
I think a lot of batters walked in and were quite excited to face me, to be honest with you. I think when you're playing at the highest level, you want to play against the best. And I think that's what some guys wanted to do when I was bowling. I never quite felt like that. It's something called imposter syndrome. You don't believe that you're as good as the numbers kind of suggest. But you kind of plan for the players that you're playing against. It's quite exciting too. If I played against Chris or I played against Ricky Ponting, whoever, you wanted to get the big wicket. You practice, you prep, and then if you do manage to get them out, it comes out in a celebration, in the way that you celebrate your wicket. So, yeah, I always just looked at it as another opportunity and another opportunity to have fun and, do the thing that I love doing, which was bowling.
What does sport give you that nothing else in life can?
I take the ability to compete. I think sport is a reflection of life. So I think whatever challenges you face in sport, you face in life as well. And for me, I was never the most talented, so I always had to work a little harder. And in life as well, coming from humble beginnings, you always had to outthink your opponent. You learn teamwork, and you just learn to graft and to ride the good days with the bad days as well. So I don't think there's anything in life that you won't face in sport and vice versa, but I think sport is a good reflection of life.
From not getting picked, then bossing the league for Bengaluru, what did that prove to you?
That was 2011, I think. Didn't get picked. I was disappointed first and foremost. After playing for KKR, then playing other leagues, and then with this IPL draft, I didn't get selected. Really and truly gutted, but that goes to show, when opportunity come and present itself again, you still grab it with both hands, but it never have that doubt within yourself, like if it doesn't happen, say that's life, it's not always things going to go your way. So that was one of the moments when I get that chance again. I said, listen, me, it's not about like I say I'm going to prove them wrong, but I want to go out there and make a point, stamp my authority and say there's still a lot of life, left in Chris Gayle at that particular time. And then it just went my way that particular moment. So I just grasp it and make sure I deliver the goods, which I did.
Which wicket still makes you feel like, yes, this is why I play?
There was a lot. I can't remember. I think I got Michael Clarke out in Perth with one that was just, it came out the hand beautifully, it found the outside edge. It was a good ball, you know, but I think the moment stood out for me because up to that point he had made like a lot of runs. And I mean, that's just one that jumps at me right now. I mean, there was many. I could, you know, if I do this interview tomorrow, it will be a different answer. But like that delivery was awesome because Australia were fighting their way back into the game. He had made a lot of runs, and then, you know, I bowled this ball, and it just found the outside edge of a fantastic player. So that one jumps to me right now. That was a good dismissal.
One thing that I was looking forward was the 2011 10-centurion Test match, where Sachin Tendulkar scored 100. And it was one of the most engrossing battles when I've seen you bowl. So I thought something. Any notes on you bowling to Sachin Tendulkar?
I mean, it was always going to come, isn't it? Sachin or Virat, I suppose. Hey? I was waiting for it. Yeah. I mean, Sachin was a fantastic player. Like, I always enjoyed coming up against Sachin. I think one of the things that I always noticed was that I always thought players kind of didn't go at him that hard. Because he had a godlike stature, you know, and deservedly so. He's an amazing cricketer. And I was always one that was, you know, slightly from a different background. I always wanted to come hard at him. I always wanted to see people on a neutral scale. So I think he appreciated that in me because I kind of went outside the norm of the way that he would perceive players to kind of go at him. And I think that's why the battles are always quite epic. And I got him sometimes and he got me sometimes, but it didn't matter whether I didn't get him out or whether he didn't score any runs. It was always a great encounter to watch because both of us knew it's on. And that's what makes cricket. I think that's what makes it entertaining and why people want to come and watch, is because they want to watch that one-on-one kind of rivalry.
What does winning mean to you beyond the scoreboard?
I think winning is what you play. You love getting into a battle. And when you lose that battle, it kind of hangs over you mentally, and you always want to replay that moment. And when you win, you're replaying that moment for the right reason. So I believe winning is all that matters, to be honest. There are obviously a lot of things that build up to winning and a lot of things that you have to take care of in order for that winning result to happen. But if you're playing the game and you're just happy losing, then it's time to go home and throw in the towel.
Has losing taught you something about life? Are you able to pick one incident where you lost and you had, like, a great life lesson?
Oh yeah, for sure. Debut in 2011, I think, against Bangladesh. And I was bowling in the middle all along, and on my debut, got chucked the ball with 2 overs to go. And yeah, shot the bed.
Test match,
T20. I just remember hearing the roar going around the stadium in Dhaka, and it was nothing that I've ever experienced, and then got dropped after that. And between then and 2015, when I made my return, I always said, I've lost a game for the West Indies, I have to become a match winner for the West Indies. So yeah, that losing moment kind of drove me for 4 years, and in between there was a few injuries, a few setbacks, but yeah, you learn a lot from losing as well.
For someone who's done it all, what does winning actually mean now?
I mean, winning means a lot, you know, everybody wants to win, you know, but, you know, not often we're going to get that winning result as much as we wanted it. I think within my over 20 years of international cricket, I've lost so many games more than win. I think the win percentage and the losing percentage, it's going to be more on the losing side because, you know, it's not how you actually put it in perspective. I remember Brian Lara said something once, you know, you're going to fail more than how you succeed, you know, within international cricket. And I really try and analyze it, and when I look at it, I was like, wow, you play that, you bat for 100 innings, how many times you fail within the 100 innings? So you got to know when to cash in and when to capitalize on those actual little margin of time from a win point of view or a scoring runs point of view. So those things kind of stand within me right throughout my career up until today. I still remember that statement he made at the poolside as well. I think it was actually in Trinidad. So like I said, we all want to win, but it's never going to come our way all the time. But you just have to manage losing as well, and rebound and come back stronger and try and win. But always have that winning mentality. Don't never have that negative mentality like, hey, I'm not going to win, I don't want to win, or I can't win. Always have that winning mentality, but no, you're not going to get it more so often, but it's how you bounce back and get to winning mentality. Simple.
As you move into coaching, what champion mindset are you trying to pass on?
I suppose it's easier when you're a coach because, do as I say, don't do as I do, It's so much easier. Why didn't you land the ball over there, I suppose there's a couple of ways that you can look at it. I look at it sometimes from my career and I go, what would I have done? What would I have wanted to do more when I was playing? And sometimes it's you want to take the positive route a little bit more. And sometimes when I was playing, I kind of took the weight of everybody else's shoulders and I thought, let me control the run rate, let me try and take a wicket, let me, do whatever the team needed. But I think Chris has hit the nail on the head over there. I think you've always got to look at it in the positive way. And when you're coaching 2020 cricket as a bowling coach, the best way to stop the run of runs, or the flow of runs, is to take a wicket. So you've got to go out there, you've got to say to your guys, be positive, look to take a wicket all the time. So it's that 10 mentality, You're always trying to be a 10 out of 10. That's the kind of thing that I'm always talking to the bowlers. Even if you're trying to bowl a perfect Yorker, think that you're going to get a wicket with that wicket, that delivery. If you're trying to bowl a back of a length, think that you're going to take a wicket. That's the way that's going to stop the run of flows, of runs. So I suppose that's the one thing that I try and install into my players whenever I'm coaching is always think positive, always try and take a wicket.
Anything part of your cricketing career which you felt, hey, if I had the coach come and tell this to me, I would have done better, and as a result, you use that in coaching? Any memory that comes up to you?
Can't really think of anything that would have made a difference. I had incredible coaches. I was around and surrounded by incredible players. Maybe sometimes I think from a South African perspective, we could have been slightly more positive all the time. Always look to be a little bit more positive rather than more on a neutral stance. It may have gotten us over the line a few more times in, say, World Cups or something like that. But who knows what would have happened, So I'm pretty happy with the way that things planned out.
That night when the world said, remember the name, what did that moment change inside you?
I resented it for a little bit, to be honest. You enjoy it, and then when you feel the weight of it, I don't think I handled the weight of that as well as I could. Talk about feeling like you were overnight success. Like it took a little while for me to level set and remember, a lot of hard work went into getting that moment, being ready for the moment, and actually succeeding in the moment. And as Chris said, like you fail more times than you win. And that was one occasion that when you win at the right time, the right place, and in a fashion that you probably never would have expected. So did that deserve then casting a spell on future performances? No. So I think I did myself a disservice there. But getting past that, now I accept it a little bit more graciously. And I think as a commentator now, I now try to, embody my commentary and embody other players' moments, however small it may be in the moment of time. I know how profound it can be when you step away from the mic. So how can I ensure that every boundary, every wicket taken that I call could potentially be that moment? Not trying to build it up and trying to say something just for a soundbite, but to give it the energy and the level of enthusiasm that the moment deserves.
You've played all over the world. Which tournament or league do you rate the highest?
Including this league? Nah, I'm kidding, man. Listen to me, the IPL is always going to be number one. That's the biggest franchise cricket league in the world. I don't see anyone getting bigger than that because obviously it's a big payday, big money, millions to a particular player. So that's number one for me. The CPL, I love the CPL. We'll always put the CPL second. I haven't played in the South Africa League, sorry, Steyn. You guys didn't pick me. IPL, CPL, which other league I'm going to put at this, the third one? I mean, I played in the UK. the Vitality Blast. You know, I had a good time there. It's good fun as well. I love playing the BPL as well. It was good. So those 3 leagues, I'll put it right up there. Good fun, great fun, a lot of memories.
If you had to make one fearless call for the T20 World Cup, what would it be?
Maybe one of the, I don't want to call them a smaller nation because they're at the World Cup, so they're all on neutral kind of ground, you know. But one of like a USA or one of these teams is going to cause a major upset. We always see it happen. I'm not too sure which one will happen, but one of your bigger teams, your more regular name teams, is going to lose to one of these guys. That's my call. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's going to happen.
If you had to make one fearless call for the T20 World Cup, what would it be?
I mean, the World Cup, we love upset, you know. We love seeing upset. You know, I've been on that occasion before, playing for West Indies. You know, so I don't know which team, but hopefully, is Italy in the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
I hope they beat, I don't know who's in the group, but I hope Italy beat one of the big
Not
teams.
West Indies.
Well, Italy's in West Indies group?
Yeah.
What a coincidence. You know what? Forget about that. Let's choose another team, not Italy. I don't want to jinx that. I don't want to jinx West Indies right now, but anyway, let's see. I'll say Italy. Not upset West Indies, upset in the other team, other big one in that team, in that zone.
If you had to make one fearless call for the T20 World Cup, what would it be?
Yeah, the upsets that the boy said, Nepal. So it was with Indian Nepal League and saw some talent. They also upset West Indies in a recent series in the UAE as well. The only challenge for them is their lack of power on the smaller grounds. But if they get on a big ground and they can run you ragged, the fielding is amazing, the spinners are good, and they are in the group with West Indies, Italy.
Nepal as well? Wow.
Yeah, so I think you might see an upset from that group, potentially Italy or Nepal qualifying from that group.
How would you define the mindset of a true champion?
I think a true champion is somebody who finds himself in the difficult situation, just himself. That's where he wants to be. That's a true champion. They look like they're at home in the difficult times. Everybody else performs at normal level, but the true champions are the guys that make it look easy when they sink a 20-foot putt or they score 20 runs off the last over to win World Cup games. Those are champions, and they make it look simple.
How would you define the mindset of a true champion?
Well, you're speaking to a champion, so. But the mindset is very important, you know what I'm saying? But most people see the glory, and when I say the glory, sometimes you see you guys mentioned the 175s, scoring triple century in a test match, getting a double century in an ODI. But most times, I'm alone. I'm alone in my own world. Sometimes you're struggling. And it's not like you can't talk to anyone, but I cannot find that person to talk to. So the only person I can find to talk to most time is myself. So I actually drive myself 99% of the time. I remember only calling one particular person when I was struggling in a test series. It was against South Africa. It was actually against South Africa. I was struggling and I called my brother and I said, what do I do in this difficult time? And his name is Michael Crew, they call him Dula. I said, I'm struggling. I say, listen to me, just go in there. In Jamaica, they say, you beat away, meaning you go and slug your way out of. And that's when I went and started to slug. If you watch that innings, when I scored that triple century against South Africa, I was going some ball, peel off, go that side, inside edge. And then eventually, everything just came back to me. Everything just came back to me. I was myself again. But most of the times, the mindset I have is always up on me. You know, I have to drive myself. So the mindset for me, like I said, I'm just happy I have that. You know, most time it take me across the line.
I remember you had also mentioned this in your book, Six Machine, where you
Yep.
said that you are a very lonely person, but it doesn't come across that.
Yeah, I like to be by myself. You know, most times, I'm an introvert. I like to be by myself. But most people see me outgoing. You know, but that's what I show on social media. But I like to chill by myself. I love to sleep and just meditate. But when I'm ready to go, I'm full on. I'm full on. Yeah, that's just me.
How would you define the mindset of a true champion?
Yeah, I take a little bit of both of what they said, to be honest. I think embracing a challenge. So there's certain players when it is a tough situation with ball or with bat, you know, some people look away from the captain. There's some people that walk up to the captain and say, give me the ball. I think that's a true champion, and you accept that you fail more than you succeed, but you're always ready to be in and amongst the battle. You always want to be the person wielding the willow with ball in hand. But I think before that, the mindset and the sacrifice is getting into the gym, getting into the net, even when you aren't hitting well, even when you aren't bowling well, even when you feel tired. How can you keep pushing yourself, knowing that as a champion, or to prepare yourself to be a champion, you have to go through blood, sweat and tears to be ready for that moment, whatever that moment may be. And funny enough, I think, you know, people will talk about the triple hundreds and they will talk about the fifers for Gayle. For me, they'll talk about the 4-6s, but I'm sure that there are other innings that we've played or bowled that we've actually said, you know what, I actually enjoyed that a lot more than the real successful times. And those would be when you're bowling at a batter who's flying and you bowl a 6-over spell and you completely remove all the momentum from his innings or partnership, or you get past a difficult spell or whatever the case may be. That sometimes shows more champion mindset than when we get the glory. But the glory and that ability to, you know, get past those tough times are because of the preparation. So I think it's a process, the preparation, the mindset has to be there to prepare, and then once you prepare, you then embrace the challenge and the glory comes afterward.
Do you play more for joy or for legacy?
It's always about joy for me, you know. As you can see, I love the charisma, times, love to have fun, always smiling most times I'm on the field. I'm doing some animated stuff with my antics and all those things. So it's just all about joy for me, you know what I'm saying? The legacy will take care of itself. You know, I think I've done, you know, quite a lot of things within the cricketing world. So the legacy will always live on, you know, but it's always joy for me. So once I'm happy, I'm good. That's the most important thing for me, having a fun moment.